Kano, a state rich in culture, history and commercial heritage, has every potential for time immemorial. But beneath its vibrant surface is a crisis silently eroding its future: the state of its education system. For almost a decade, the education sector in Kano State has suffered from neglect, with primary schools and even tertiary institutions were left to fend amidst crumbling infrastructure and dwindling resources. As classrooms overflow with students and teachers struggle to make ends meet, the need for intervention has never been more urgent at any time in the past than now. With the declarations of a state of emergency in the education sector in Kano State, hope flickers anew down for the children and their parents, with the belief that lights have begun to emerge at the end of the tunnel. This documentary gets along deep into the reasons behind the declaration, shedding more light on the years of neglect that have brought the education sector, primary to tertiary institutions, to its knees in the historic state of Kano.
I went to school where one classroom is being shared as a classroom, as a dormitory. You go to school with 6,000 students without a single toilet. You go to school with hostel accommodated like maybe 100 students without a single window.
Join us as we uncover the challenges faced by the school system, the teachers and the parents alike, exploring the transformative initiatives aimed at revitalizing Kano education sector to the highest plane of regards. For in the face of adversity lies the opportunity for change. Welcome to the journey towards a brighter tomorrow for Kano education sector.
The situation as of today is very pathetic, very worrisome, and most unfortunate. I saw this school. I heard a lot about the dilapidation of the school, and I felt the best way for me as the governor of the state is for me to come and see for myself and take decision as to how best we can reactivate the infrastructure in the school, and to make decision as to whether the unfortunate deboarding, of the school will be reverted.
The primary education sector in Kano State is plagued by numerous challenges that were made serious by the past administration, necessitating the declarations of a state of emergency. Neglect and infrastructural decay are rampant, with many schools lacking basic facilities like classrooms, toilets, and instructional facilities. Inadequate funding, teacher shortages, and poor educational quality further exacerbate the crisis. Such systemic issues demand urgent interventions to ensure every child has access to quality education and conducive learning environment.
Honestly speaking, when you talk of education, particularly when you are a parent to infrastructure, I will just say it's a pity. It's most unfortunate. We really inherited, I can say, crumbling infrastructure in Kano State with regards to our classrooms, our toilets, and so on. It's unfortunate that you find as a result of the situation we found ourselves, we have overcrowded classrooms because the classrooms are not adequate.
Maure Village Community School. Maure, a community bound by resilience and determination. For a decade-long battle, the village had yearned for primary school but their appeals to authorities fell on deaf ears. With sheer determination, the community rallied together, pooling resources and labor to establish an open-air classroom on a plot of land provided by their collective efforts. For almost 13 years now, the makeshift Maure Village Community Primary School has been a source of hope and resilience, nurturing generations of students. In the face of difficulties, Maure Village reminds us that where there is unity and determination, there is always a path to education and empowerment. Their school is existing under the shade of trees and in the sun, and they are determined to send their children to school. Kano Primary School has faced significant challenges for quite some time. Lack of infrastructure and basic amenities like classrooms, desks, and even a fence can greatly hinder the learning environment for students. The primary, established in the 1970s, has been the only hope for generations of students in the area. However, behind its weathered walls is a story of struggle against the odds of time. For the students of this area, education is not just a dream, it is a promise of opportunities and empowerment. Reasons why against all odds they are out to send their children to school.
It is only when you have conducive learning environment that effective learning can take place. And this is seriously learning in many schools across the 44 LGS. Let me just give you an example. If you go to so many schools, you find the children sitting on bare floor. Now, if you are teaching a child handwriting, he needs to be on a good seat, have a table or a desk, put his book, and then he will be trained on how to write very well. But unfortunately, you find them, all of them, the whole class, sitting on a bare floor.
Roba Primary School, Ganduji. Roba Primary School has for years been a forgotten school. The primary, once a thrilling environment for learning, now stands as a relic of neglect and abandonment. Its classrooms are empty and silent, even with less or no pupil attending. For decades, Roba Primary School has been trapped in a cycle of relic decay. Its infrastructure quite non-friendly and its resources depleted. Perhaps the most tragic consequences of its neglect is the impact it has on the children of Roba community Ganduji. Unable to withstand the harsh condition of their learning environment, generations of students have been forced to abandon their education. Their dreams for a better future slipped in the hands of many. Amongst them is their own son, who happens to be the governor of Kano, yet cannot look back to fix this mess at his home front. Let's now take a look at the secondary education sector, which at the moment is facing formidable challenges that have precipitated its alarming decline. The dire circumstances inflicting the sector justifying the urgent need for a declaration of a state of emergency in the education sector. By delineating the multifaceted issues plaguing secondary education in Kano State, we underscore the imperative for immediate intervention to prevent further deterioration and restore the sector to its former glory.
Here is my class. We are sitting in the mosque because we don't have enough classes. That's why our school combined us to sit in the mosque, because the classes are not enough for us. We don't have even all the chairs. We are just sitting down in the mosque and in the staff room. The mosque is in the staff room, but the teachers and us are sitting. And when the teacher comes for a lesson, like, he don't have the confidence or right to round into the class because of we are just sitting down.
The remnants of an educational institution that once was a complete girls' boarding school lies here. This is GGSS Erga. Today, GGSS Erga remains a silent witness to neglect and abandonment, a testament to the challenges faced by public education in Kano State. Closed down by the previous administration and left to decay, Government Girls Secondary School Erga's infrastructure now lies in a state of dilapidation, as you can all see. The once vibrant classrooms are now filled with debris, and the playgrounds echo with emptiness. Despite the challenges, there is hope on the horizon. The closure of Government Girls Secondary School Erga has had a devastating impact on the community, as well as other communities in and around Kano City. Amidst the bustling of life was Government Girls Secondary School Jogana. Once a school with over 2,000 students in its boarding house. It was, however, closed down some 5 years ago, and now neglect seeped into its very foundation, leaving behind a trail of decay and dilapidation. Jogana was once vibrant corridors, echoed with the laughter of boarding students, now lay silent, haunted by the memories of the bygone era. Windows once gleaming with sunlight now stood shattered, allowing tendrils of ivy to creep in, reclaiming what was once not there. The classrooms once filled with the eager minds of tomorrow's leaders now bore the scars of neglect. Desks lay broken, textbooks torn, and chalkboards faded, every facility decaying, evidently showing abandonment that had befallen the institution. The students' dormitories, where friendships were forged and dreams were shared, now stood empty. Government Secondary Tafiz al-Quran Kiru. The GSTQ Kiru still stands as a haunting reminder of neglect. The school, though not officially closed, resembles a ghost town, with its buildings and infrastructure decaying into oblivion. In its heyday, Government Secondary Tafiz al-Quran Kiru was a bustling institution for Quranic learning, with vibrant sounds of Quranic memorizers, classrooms, dedicated teachers, and lively students. Years of neglect and lack of maintenance had taken their toll. The school's once grand buildings now stood as mere shells of their former selves. Crumbling infrastructure with an unfriendly theater called hostel, without even a single bed. The teachers' houses at Tafiz al-Quran Kiru, which were once a symbol of stability and commitment, now lay abandoned and overrun by dilapidation and decay. The students' hostels, once filled with the air, now stood snoring, with students living on a mat laid on bare floor. Despite the visible dilapidation traces at Kiru, the school is still with students whose fate is between reality and the dream for the future. Government Secondary School Gwarzo, established decades ago, stands as a sign of the legacy of education in northern Nigeria. Once adorned by the footsteps of illustrious alumni such as the renowned Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, GSS Gwarzo was a beacon of hope for generations. But today, the corridors of this vulnerable institution bear witness to a different tale. Amidst the hustle and bustles of students lies a harsh reality: infrastructure decay. The once study hostels now stand as a solemn reminder of neglect, their walls weathered by time and elements. The toilet, once pristine, now lies in despair, echoing the neglect that has befallen this historic institution. As GSS Gwarzo stands at the crossroads between its glorious past and uncertain future, one thing remains clear: the urgent need for revitalization for the sake of its students, its teachers, and the generation yet to come. The time to act is now. GGSS Madobi, Kano. Government Secondary School Madobi, formerly with more than 2,300 students, once stood a good school. The closure of the institutions a couple of years ago by the previous administration left its facilities in ruins. This forgotten school is exploring the resilience of its students and staff amidst decay. GGSS Madobi was more than just a school. It was a community. Students were eager to learn and teachers were passionate about educating over 1,500 students then in the school. The school's fate took a dark turn, plunging its infrastructure into a state of despair. It is heartbreaking to see what has become of the school. Despite the adversity, the spirit of GGSS Madobi lives on. The students and teachers alike are banking on the present administration of its determination and efforts to reclaim their school from the grips of total neglect.
Actually, education has been a disaster, a calamity to Kano State. It is neither the students, nor the teachers, nor the schools themselves, nor the parents. Virtually everything is lost. When I say everything, it means everything. Infrastructurally, morally, everything is just a calamity. Sincerely speaking, nobody considers education to be anything relevant in Kano State within the last 8 years. The dilapidation is glaring. The dilapidation of infrastructures, the absence of teaching and learning in the schools, particularly facilities that are required, and the absence of the students and the morale of the staff. All these are areas that the government definitely have to declare state of emergency to restore the confidence required for effective teaching and learning to take place.
The situation is so pathetic. The condition of our learning centers is very disheartening because going by the level of dilapidations, more than 2/3 of the learning centers need serious and urgent attention. Some, if you look at the level of dilapidations, some they are not habitable at all. Some without toilets. How could we imagine a learning center accommodating, more especially female learners, adult females, without a toilet? So we are in a serious problem actually. So more than 2/3 of the learning centers, I have said, they are in need of attention, serious attention.
A lot have been dilapidated for years, and in some boarding schools, the schools are not even pens. And these are issues that are even bringing some of our girls refuse attending school because of that fear that the school is not pens. So actually, there are a lot that needs to be done in rehabilitation of these dilapidated structures.
Despite facing significant challenges, the Kano State government, under the leadership of Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, has demonstrated unwavering commitment to improving education within the state. This is done through the combination of infrastructural development, teacher training, technology integration, and community engagement. The government is laying the groundwork for a brighter future for generations to come. This is to usher in the main event, the grand event, the declaration of the state of emergency in the education sector. Let's see what is on ground so far.
Yeah, we have started. We have renovated so far about 120 schools. We are building new ones like the one in Kura and other places. And we are coming up with big ideas. Some individuals are also contributing. We have improved the feeding arrangement of our schools. We are now feeding them at least 3 times a day, not only 3 times a day with the good food. We have now reactivated the Concorsia Girls Child Initiative buses. We have more than 70 that shuttles daily to convey these children to schools. We have also, through our monitoring, ensured that at least attendance or being in school as early as possible is now mandatory, and it's happening in Kano State. If you go around the schools now, you see the improvement in time of attendance for both teachers and students, and this is courtesy of the policy we are taking into practice. We also have distributed teaching material, teaching aids, books, exercise books, chalks, and other things worth 3 billion naira. His Excellency, during his education week, His Excellency also ready to distribute another set worth more than 2.5 billion naira. We have chalk in abundance. We have more than 10 trailers of chalk. All this we have, and we are giving out to schools so that at least school will not cry on anything that is supposed to be there that is not there.
The conditional cash transfer program for vulnerable students through Agile Projects initiatives in Kano State is providing financial support to families, ensuring that children can afford to stay in school. Meanwhile, the IDEAS project is equipping vocational teachers with the skills they needed to empower students for the workforce of tomorrow. For the problems of out-of-school children, the Kano State government have launched numerous initiatives to address this issue head-on, and it is determined to reduce the staggering number of out-of-school children roaming the streets. Now let us delve into the higher education of learning in Kano State, comprising the tertiary institutions that has for long been a citadel of academic excellence, yet its potential has been destroyed by the 8 years of neglect. As a result, the once vibrant universities, colleges of education and polytechnics under the institutions now bear scars of neglect, hindering both the academic pursuits of students in several aspects and the research endeavors of the faculty members. The Honorable Commissioner shares the travails.
We have tracked the footprint, especially on the atrocities committed by them on education. More particularly, we have seen the encroachment of land, classes, theaters by the past government, to the extent that even some land, some classes, some theaters were allocated for personal gain. Kano University of Science and Technology, now Aliko Dangote University of Science and Technology. I mean the former Dollar Hotel, you can see how it was allocated for personal gain. So they have committed a lot in terms of declining the educational sector here in Kano.
As we conclude our documentary on the declarations of a state of emergency on the education system in Kano State, it is evident that the impact of this decision resonates deeply across all levels of education, from the theater hall of the higher institutions to the classrooms of primary schools. The challenges are immense. Let us remember that education is not a privilege, but a fundamental human right. It is the foundation upon which society are built. We must ensure that every child in Kano State has access to quality education, setting them on the path towards a prosperous and fulfilling future. This is not just a declaration for a state of emergency, it is a call to action. Let us rise to the challenges and help the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, Abba Gida Gida, to build a brighter tomorrow for generations to come. Thank you for joining us in this journey.